everyone, it's Margaret Manning here, and welcome to 60 and Me. This is the place where women over 60 come to be inspired. And today we are going to be inspired by someone called Nancy Queen. Nancy has an online shop. It's called nobleknits.com, and she has a community of knitters that follow her. And welcome to the show, Nancy.
Hi, Margaret. Thanks so much for having me at 60 and Me. I'm really pleased to be here.
Oh, it's so cool. You know, we have a lot of women in our community who love to knit. I mean, honestly, it must be, I think, the most popular hobby or craft. And most of them are like me, beginners. And we've done a number of videos today where we've talked about, you know, the whole process of getting started. But what if you have really got the knack of it and you want to take this knitting to another level? What advice would you give us? What are some things you can do to advance your knitting?
Well, number one is to start just practice. You know, your knitting really improves by the amount you do it, just like learning to play the piano. Yeah. You practice, totally. Practice. Your knitting will really improve if you keep at it. Your stitches will become more uniform, and oftentimes you don't even have to look at your knitting to make those stitches.
I've watched people do that.
Looking off and
don't you? I can't do that. I have to kind of keep looking. But anyway, that's yeah. But I think you're right. Confidence. You get confidence.
Yes, absolutely. And then another way is to really challenge yourself. Take classes. Knit with others. Watch a video. Or join a knit along. There are hundreds, and we offer a lot of knit alongs where you learn a new knitting technique or several knitting techniques, all based around one project. So I know when we do a knit along, it's kind of an interesting concept that's really unique to the knitting community. A knit along is a place where there's one particular project and everybody joins together to knit this project, and we do it all online. So we see knitters from all around the world sharing their ideas, taking photos of their finished projects, and talking through points that are tricky for them. And we have our knitting doctor that helps them through the process. And she kind of comes out, we'll say like, okay, in 2 weeks, we're going to be knitting this project, and in 2 weeks after that, you'll have knitted to this part of the project that might be a little tricky, like making this ruffle or this eyelet. And you've learned a new technique along with hundreds of other people.
So on your website, you've got these some access to a knit along. So you've got information where people can join. And as you said, they're online, so people can be anywhere in the world.
Yes.
Okay.
And a lot of local yarn shops offer knit alongs too, or knitting groups where they knit together so everyone's working through this process at the same time and having the same bumps in the road. So it really helps you form bonds with other people.
Do you know, as you were talking, I was thinking there's this huge tribe of women around the world, women and men, I suppose, around the world who love to knit, and that brings, there's such a commonality about it. Is what kind of people, it's just a weird question, but what kind of qualities do you find in people that want to take knitting to that next level and really, you know, I mean, what kind of people are they?
They're fun. They're fun, and they do have an attention to detail and just zest for life and desire to grow and keep improving their lives.
Yes, try new things all the time.
Yes. Well, there's over 100 ways to cast on. So knitting is an Olympic sport that you can keep growing with.
Growing your knitting muscles. No, it's true. So in terms of getting on with your going to the next level, you said you've got the knit alongs where you do all kinds of problem solving, like at certain points in the project. What else is there that you can do to advance your watching videos, of course, yes, but anything else?
Well, you could join a knitting club or a knitting group. And I know a lot of the knitting groups that we meet with or that we talk to, they kind of help one another move along. Like they share what they're working on. So there might be knitters of different skill levels. And one's knitting an advanced lace and the other one's knitting a beginner scarf. and they kind of share ideas and, oh, how did you do that lace? I'd like to try that. Well, it's so
Yes.
easy. Here's how you're going to do it. And
Yeah.
there's so much that you can learn from one another. And just, pick up a knitting book,
Yeah.
look online. We have thousands of patterns on our website to inspire you and give you ideas.
Yeah.
And there's many tutorials available to help you through the next steps.
And another thing, I mean, I've actually watched a couple of videos where you get such a close up of the person's hands. I mean, you really can learn from online. You don't have to have it in person. Online is very powerful.
It is, because you can learn at your own pace and you can rewind and review as many times as you need to. So it
Yeah.
is a really amazing tool that we have today that, our mothers and grandmothers never had.
Yeah, for sure. So you've actually written a couple of books, haven't you? You've written the Chicks with Sticks Guide to Knitting and Chicks with Sticks Guide, or I'm saying this wrong,
Yes.
Sticks Guide
No, you got it.
to it was to knitting and also to crochet. So, and again,
Yeah.
those are great. I mean, I think just getting educated is, like you said at the beginning, learning is the next step.
And those books, really, we wrote them with the purpose of having people learn step by step.
Yeah.
And every time we introduced a new knitting technique, we accompanied it with a project. It might be a little sweater or a scarf or a hat
Yeah.
that would
It's
help
perfect.
you master that technique.
Very, very cool. Well, I honestly want to learn more. So I'm going to check out the website and see what I can do. I mean, I'm just doing straight knitting and I'm being saved by the beautiful colors and textures of the wool because the technique is not that good yet. But you've got to start somewhere, really, haven't you?
Exactly. Yes.
Tell me about what you're wearing because I love, love, love
Oh,
that shawl,
this
the
is
scarf.
a beginner project. It's all knit. It was knitted in the round on circular needles or round needles,
It's
and it's
amazing.
just knit. It's a hand spun yarn from India, and it has a little bit of sparkle in it.
That's what drew me to it. I always, where was I somewhere the other day? I was in somewhere in Switzerland. We're speaking German, and went into a little wool shop. That's another thing is look for wool shops because
Yes,
there are little places tucked away, and they all have interesting wools. And I went in and said, "Do you have anything with sparkle?" And she went, "Sparkle?" Like, sparkle, yes. And I couldn't think of another word for sparkle, but she did have some nice wool actually, but it's a bit conservative. But that's gorgeous, and that's available on your website, I bet.
yes, it is, and so is the pattern.
Yeah,
It's a free pattern on our website.
it's really cool. So I think we've covered a lot. Is there anything last minute advice or inspiration you'd like to give to our community?
Um, Let me just see here.
I mean, you love it. I
You
mean,
know,
clearly it's your passion.
I do. I do. Well, just remember that it is a hobby to enjoy and that everything you do in knitting is a combination or variation of the knit and purl stitches. So if
Yeah.
you've learned to knit and you've learned to purl, you're just building on those two basic skills.
Yeah. And just to have a go.
Yes.
Okay, well, thank you so much. And I know, as you know, we'll put the details of your website so that people can go and learn more online and when they've got a bit more time. And I'm so grateful that you were here today and shared all your insight and wisdom with us. Thank you.
Thank you, Margaret. I'm so happy to be here at 60 and Me.
It's fantastic. Thanks a lot, Nancy. Take care. If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe to our 60andMe YouTube channel and also visit our website. We are a strong and dynamic community of women over 60. We're challenging aging stereotypes, and every day we share fascinating stories, interesting questions, and great conversation.